This is going to be your favorite weekly check-in, and it's called the Flirty Future Check-in. We need to first build out your future self character. So you're going to start by doing that. Second thing is you need to pick 1 to 3 things about their life that you want to experience, whether that's your job, a feeling, how you feel in your body, the way that your body looks, relationships, routines, etc. Just pick 1 to 3 things that you're going to focus on. The third thing is then you're going to start flirting with the energy of your future self. So, who is your future self? Yeah, who is she? What version of her do you want to become, or who do you think that you want to become? So, this is going to start to get clear. So, you're going to answer some of these questions. Why do you want to be her? What does she have? How does she feel? What about her feels out of reach to you right now? What does she smell like? How does she feel in her body? What kind of relationship does she have? What are her priorities? What's important to her? How does she communicate with others? How do others feel around her? If her energy could be described as a painting, what would she look like? Color, bright, calm, nature, glitter, symbols, etc. That's a little fun activity. So I want you to start thinking about those questions and answer what character of your future you do you want to experience. We have many, many, many infinite amount of future versions of ourselves. We're living in a multiverse. We can experience whatever we want to experience right now. So because there are so many options of your future, whether that's what job you're in, what relationship you're in, what city you live in, it's possibilities are endless. Think about like parallel universe or sliding doors where like, oh, I could go this way or this way. So instead of 2020 hindsight looking at those things of like, oh, I wonder if I did this instead of that, what would my life be like? We want to catch that before that actually happens. Because sometimes we think about the future that we want, and then we get there and we're like, oh, wait, I actually didn't want this in the first place. And why did I actually go after this? So to save that step, we're going to flirt with future version of ourselves. We're going to flirt with the energy to see, 1, if we actually want to be that version of ourselves, and 2, closing the gap to become her if we do want to be that version of ourselves. So, once you have solidified who your future self character is, okay, you've locked it in, you know 1 to 3 things that you want to experience. You're going to set a day of the week and stick to that day. So, for an example, we'll just pick Sundays. Every Sunday, we are going to sit down and we're going to have a flirty future check-in to see how was the week? How did it go? How are we feeling? Do we want to switch characters, or do we really love who we're becoming and we want to go deeper into that version of us? So the first question to ask yourself is, what did my future self do this week? Reflect on one action or habit your future self would be proud of. For an example, my future self would celebrate that I posted consistently every day on social media because she is a full-time content creator. So that's actually my future self right now that I am playing with, that I'm flirting with, because I want to feel like what it's like to be a full-time content creator. So I would be like, heck yes, we post it every day, whether that is on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, Threads, any platform. I posted something every day. So would be really proud of myself if I did that. Second question is, how did I embody my future self's energy? Did you show confidence, curiosity, kindness, or focus like your future self does? And then I want you to rate 1 to 10 of what that experience was. How did you do? 10 being the best, 10 being not so great. And then I want you to journal what went well in ways that you can embody that a little bit more next week. The third question is, what mindset shifts did I practice? Did you catch any of your old limiting beliefs? How did you flip them? Were they big or small? An example of this would be, instead of doubting my skills, I reminded myself that I'm learning and growing. I'm new at this. I'm a new content creator. I'm not going to go viral. I'm not going to get 1 million followers the first video I post. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm practicing, and that is a win. The fourth question is, what's one bold move I made towards my dream? Big or small, what progress did you make that your future you would admire? To be like, oh my gosh, she's becoming me. Number 5 is, where did I feel resistance or self-sabotage? This is an important one to look at, because when we don't look at it, we don't realize why we stop doing things, because we don't realize the sabotage is actually there. So be honest. Be honest here. That's where being honest here helps you get clear on what is holding you back. 6, what lessons did I learn this week? What insights, wins, or aha moments happened? 7, what will I do next week to keep flirting with my future self? Again, if you're loving this version of yourself, it feels really great, I want to keep going, then how can I step it up a notch? If you're like, I don't know if this is actually the version that I want, then build a new character. Try something on again, try a new version the next week. If you do want to keep going, set 1 to 3 clear, intentional actions aligned with your goals. Very specific, tangible things you can do, actionable items that you can do next week. And then a bonus, after you do your check-in, I want you to do a 5-minute visualization exercise. Spending 5 minutes like visualizing what that future self would be like. You can go in meditation, play music, and just dream about it if you're visual yourself. You can go in on Pinterest and like build a board of what your future self, either where they live or what they look like, what they wear, and just build like a mood board of her. If you want more direction with this, you can download the Heart Vortex guide that I have on my, if you want more guidance with this, I have a Heart Vortex guide that you could actually download, and it'll take you through a bunch of other steps that you could do to visualize your future self and create a whole Heart Vortex board, which is really fun. And then you can look at that daily if it feels really good for you, or you could stick to the weekly. It's kind of like a vision board, but something that you could put on your phone. Check that out if that feels like you're called to that. I actually want to go into the 5 things that are actually happening when you visualize your future self, like scientifically, because I think this is really fun. Like anything that I'm doing that feels very like an embodiment practice or very like woo woo, or where like we're like, is that actually going to work? It's just really refreshing to hear actual scientific data of why it's effective. And it just boosts even more of like, I need to be doing that more, or it's effective. One, the brain doesn't know actually the difference between real and imagined, which is really interesting. When you vividly imagine a future scenario, like speaking confidently on stage, living in your future dream apartment, running your own business, the same brain regions light up as if you were actually experiencing this in real life, especially the prefrontal cortex, motor cortex, and limbic system. We see this in like professional athletes. They're like envisioning them shooting baskets over and over. Or you also see examples of this, like people practicing doing a specific like exercise, and they have the same amount of growth, or they visualize practicing the piano, and they improve their skills like they were actually practicing, but they were just visualizing themselves practice. So this means visualization builds mental muscle memory, making it easier to act in alignment with the version of you that is in the real world. Okay, the second thing is that you create new neural pathways. Each time you visualize your future self and how she thinks, behaves, or solves problems, you strengthen those neural connections. This is called neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to rewire itself based on new thoughts, action, and beliefs. So what this means is that you start forming habits and mindsets that match your future, not your past, which is so cool. The third thing is it changes your self-image. Programs your reticular activating system, also called RAS, the brain's filter of what you notice and focus on. Once you consistently picture yourself as a confident, abundant, or successful, any of the things that your future self embodies, your RAS starts looking for evidence to confirm that identity before that identity is actually comes true. So what this means is that you start to notice more opportunities, people, ideas that are aligned with future you, and ignore things that don't. 4, it regulates emotions and boosts motivation. Visualizing success can trigger the release of dopamine, the feel-good chemical that we love to feel. It's a reward and motivation chemical. It also reduces cortisol, which is our stress hormone. And what this means is that you feel more inspired, less stuck, and emotionally connected to your future during these hard lessons. And 5, it activates embodiment. So by pairing visualization with movement, like walking, dressing, voice notes, you shift from just thinking about your future and being it. This multi-sensory activation, visual, emotional, and physical, is how your body begins to believe the vision is already here in real life. What this means is that your identity starts changing from the inside out. So cool. So it's not just woo-woo to actually visualize. It's a lot of scientific things are happening. Do the visualization after your weekly check-in. Use this as a tool that you can do to build trust with your future self of doing the things that your future self has, does, is, embodies. Because why you're not that version is because you're not doing all the things that she's doing, whether it's like ways of thinking, having certain beliefs, different certain habits or routines that she has, different jobs, what different skills that she had learned. So what we want to do is start doing those things now, flirting with that energy, flirting with the idea of who she is and what she feels like, to actually see if you want to become that version of you. And if you do, you just go full steam ahead and you're like, okay, let's just lock in these check-ins. If you don't want to become that, then you're like, okay, let's pivot and just see what another version of me would feel like. Another way you can do this, especially if you're trying to explore like careers or jobs or things like that, is like think about like shadowing somebody for a day. Think about how you can actually jump into somebody's life and see, could I see myself doing this? Do I enjoy it? Can I visualize myself doing this job or this way of movement or whatever it is that you're focusing on? I can think back when I was like shadowing people for careers. I wish I shadowed way more people before I had picked actual industry to go into, because if I had flirted with the future version of me being a nurse, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't have picked it. Maybe I would have been like, okay, that's actually maybe not for me. It's just an idea. Not everything happens for a reason, and we're moving forward. So any version of you that you're like, oh, I wish I would have known that beforehand, you have learned so many skills from that. You don't have to go backwards and say, oh, what if, or have regrets around that. It's just about now having the awareness of like, okay, let's not do that again. And let's flirt with the energy to make sure that we actually want to do the next thing that we think we want to do. Hopefully you find this helpful. Create your weekly checklist that you can go through on Sundays. If you don't want to pick Sunday, pick a different day. The whole point is just checking in with yourself weekly, moving the needle towards our future self and flirting with our future self.